Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
That we sure do. Today we have a special video for you. We're doing a little bit of a Kickstarter preview for one of our favorite genres there is to be, roll and writes.
Yeah! Can I bring it out? Can I bring it out? Can I bring it out?
We sure can. We're taking a look at Dice Kingdoms of Valeria. And as you can tell, this is a prototype version of the game. In the end, it'll look a little bit like this. So we'll keep the fancy art here while we have the white box in the back.
Dice Kingdoms of Valeria is designed by Levi Mote, and its art is done by the Mico. This game is published by Daily Magic Games.
In Dice Kingdoms of Valeria, you'll be rolling dice and filling out your kingdom. Now, there are 6 dice that you'll roll, and the first 2, the harvest dice, will allow everybody to participate to fill their guilds. Now, following that, you have a choice of 3 actions you can take with the 3 dice, the green, the yellow, or the red. Now, if you take the red dice, you'll slay the monsters, going left to right depending on your value. If you take the green dice, you'll explore the worlds by going to the roads, so looking at the greenery and visiting various sections and domains. Now, if you take the yellow dice, you'll recruit more people so that when those initial 2 dice are rolled, you get more added to your guilds. Now, the blue dice can be added to any of the 3 dice to increase that value. As you'll notice, some of the numbers range up to 11 or 12, so you'll have to roll the double 6s for that to happen. Now, the other thing you'll notice too is on the board, there's quite a lot of different tracks as well, and those come from the combinations within the various sections. Like example, the knights on the wall, as they get filled up, there's more mighty power that will help you slay more monsters. Now the game ends when one player fills 3 of the guild tracks, everyone else will get a turn, and then you'll calculate your points.
Now you'll begin scoring by counting up the number of stars that you've been able to fill out on your player sheet. The second way you'll score points is by visiting domains. You'll score 1 point for each of the domain you visited. Next, you'll score points for the monsters that you've slain. If you've slain them the fastest, you'll get more points. The last way you'll score points is through statue cards. These are gold cards that you'll be able to acquire after collecting some gold. They'll offer different ways to score points, and after all of that, you'll add everything up, and whoever has the most points wins!
Now, this is a roll and write game, and we really do enjoy them. So, I have one question for you. What makes a roll and write game great?
Oh.
What do you think?
Oh. I don't know, I think a good roll and write has the ability of involving everybody at the table, and maybe combos, and somewhere from simple to complex. Because we've played a lot of roll and writes. I like when some games can fit into certain slots that are like, oh, I want to play a little bit more of a heavier game, I want to play a little bit more of a lighter game, and I think roll and writes for the most part have that variety.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, this one definitely fits all those 3 categories that you mentioned.
Sure does.
For me, one of the biggest, when I get drawn to roll and writes, is the combinations and the ability to roll something and work in different areas and potentially even reset and do it again. I think that's one of the most exciting things because you can get that perfect dice rolls, and this game certainly has that because the 3 tracks that are accessible to you are only a portion of the game board.
Yeah.
So the other spaces are obtained through getting combinations, through getting various spaces, through taking the certain paths or defeating the specific monster. There's a lot of planning that you can take, and based on the statue card, it kind of interweaves that all together and makes it into a beautiful little bundle.
Yeah, so there's 6 statue cards that will be available to you to choose from when you get the option. So you can choose one of them and then play towards that goal. So I find that's really neat. And then you can combo off of those goals. So you might score points for having the most recruits, but on top of that, you also might have points for the most monsters slain, and you were able to do that because you had so many recruits. There's just these interesting, intricate ways that turn into these combos that make this game feel very engine buildy, and I approve.
And I think that's one of the best parts too, is once you recruit a lot in the beginning, when those 2 dice get rolled, because you get to take the action of each of the dice, but also their added sum. Yeah. So you're able, not even on your own turn, recruit to the guilds that have those actions, and all of a sudden you're taking a fairly complex turn. and you're traveling through various aspects, and that's what makes it really exciting, because as that player is the player that rolled is trying to figure out what they're going to do, you're just racking in all the gold and all the bonus actions just from the guilds that you've been able to fill, which I really like.
Yeah, it's not completely solitaire, which is super nice about this game. Obviously, you're playing on your own player sheets, but you still get that tense feeling of how come this person's comboing better on my dice roll than I am. So
yeah, the player interaction is definitely limited. I think the only time it really comes into play is when deciding which of the statue cards to get, because sometimes you can be going for the same one and all of a sudden it gets taken from you, so you have to adjust your strategy a little bit. But there are 2 cards of the same in the statue deck, so you have an ability to maybe get one in the future or double up on some of the points.
Yeah,
and that makes it quite fun.
And you're gonna want to get those goals, like they're a big part of scoring, so you got to make sure you collect them.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of our games have been maybe exactly a statue card away from each other, so that's what makes it. They're close, but they're always kind of nail-biting situation. The one last thing I'll say too is I really like how you actually can't really tell if someone's an elite, because the various like the stars are kind of hidden of which ones you're going to score, and you don't really pay attention to the domains that people have and how many statue cards. So I think that's what makes it really fun too, because you can be going particularly just for the stars and trying to get all of them, and other people might not know. So
that's fair. You can like sneak the win almost. You basically only know the cards or only know what people are scoring based on the monsters they've slain and the statue cards they've got, but sometimes you don't even know how many points they're going to score off of that. I will say that if you do want to play this game, that it's a good roll and write that fits like perfectly in the middle almost of complexity. There are a lot more simple roll and writes for sure, and there are a few that I can name that would be more complex than this. But that said, if you really like those small roll and writes and you're looking for a step up, Dice Kingdoms of Valeria is probably a good step.
Yeah, and I find that in terms of analysis by paralysis type, because you're only limited to 3 decisions, and some of them don't always work. Like you roll a 1 green and the other blues, and like it's not really worth for you to travel on the roads. It's not really worth for you to slay because none of them really fit. So it makes sense to recruit. So sometimes your actions are even guided, for lack of a better word. And I think I like that because it doesn't produce a lot of like, what are all the things I can do? There's so many things I can fill in. So
yeah, I think the board itself is pretty intuitive. One thing I don't think we mentioned really heavily was the abilities that are on one of the cards. So when you go through the paths, you can unlock certain abilities, which will help you change dice, flip dice over, recruit new people, and that's super, super handy.
And that is another factor that makes a roll and write great, is when you can change some of those values, because that mitigates some of the luck element.
Yeah.
And it's neat because it goes up and down of each of the color of the dice, but it also flips it. So if you roll a 1, you get a 6.
Yeah, so it's super handy.
Fun. Yeah. And that is
Dice Kingdoms of Valeria.
If you're interested in this game, check out the campaign. We'll link it down below. It's launching next week, I believe, but we'll throw the date in the comments because it may be slipping my mind at this moment. And other than that, check out, they have I think 2 other games that we haven't had a chance to play yet, but we're very eager to check out as well.
Yep, yeah, we're really excited. And also just a reminder that what we're showing you is a prototype. Some of the things that we are talking about might change over time, who knows, but you'll have to jump on the campaign page and find out yourself.
Well, thanks so much for watching, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.